The following program may contain strong language and mature content. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to She Is Shenomenal. I am your host, Tasha Champion, the Shenomenal Coach of Champion Empowerment. Always teaching you to love the champion you are. And I am back. I have been away for 2 weeks, and I'm going to tell you guys why. Because as much as I preach this and teach this to other women, sometimes I forget to prioritize my self-care. And I had been going. I mean, I think my battery was longer than the Energizer Bunny. And at one point, I just started feeling a little weak. I started feeling completely tired. I had been traveling, I had been working. I mean, just doing a bunch of different things. Y'all know sometimes you're like a one-woman show and you're wearing 10,000 hats, and that was me for a while. And I started to feel like my body was shutting down. And I meditated and I started to go inward and I listened, and all I could hear my whole spirit tell me was like, rest, rest, rest. Now, understand, resting and sleeping are two different things. Sleeping is something you do with your eyes closed and you are sleeping through the night or taking a nap. Resting is intentional. And that is what I had to do. I had to intentionally pause. I had to intentionally put my laptop down. I had to intentionally stop working for a moment and just focus on myself. And I went on like just a really restful journey. I was journaling more, got back into consistency in my meditation. And then I started taking spiritual relaxing baths, which I'll talk to you guys about that one day. So ladies and gentlemen, because it's important for you guys too, I want you just to remember to prioritize your self-care. Add yourself to that calendar. All the to-do lists that you have, make sure you're on it as well. And when you are feeling like, oh my God, I'm always tired, I feel sluggish, I just feel like I don't want to do anything, that is when your body and your spirit is telling you, hey, you got to rest. Kick your feet up, turn on a Netflix and chill. Don't do anything. Just disconnect and allow yourself to just relax. That is for women, men, moms, dads, entrepreneurs. You have to listen to your body and intentionally and purposely rest. Now, I'm going to get into this more within the next couple of weeks, but it is official. The Shenomenal Women's Retreat will be happening October 6th through 8th, 2023. So not next month. This is a whole year out. So I'm going to bring you guys more information. I am so excited. My facilitators and healers, like we are just bringing you guys so much healing, self-connection, just really remembering to go within yourself, because sometimes we're too busy doing everything else that we forget we exist. And this retreat is going to bring you back to the center of the most important person in your life. So I can't wait to bring you guys more information about that. Now, enough about me, because this show is all about bringing you Shenomenal women and introducing you guys to women who are just making massive change in this world. And this woman today, y'all, let me tell you, I saw her on another show, the Dante Morrison show. Hey, Dante. And from the moment that he read her bio, and I'm gonna read a little bit of it, because I swear, like, her bio is enough to create a novel. This is how many accolades this beautiful Shenomenal woman has. And she is blazing in an industry where there are only 2% Black women. Okay, so this lets you know just how incredible she is, because she didn't just get one position and just stop. She's blazing trails. She's creating a new path. She is, you know, being that mentor that these young Black girls need. They need to see. So she has paved the way, and I'm really excited. I'm going to grab my phone. I'm going to read to you guys her bio, because this is really important. I want you to see just how much she's done before she comes on and you guys hear how incredible she is. So Kia Lorece Smith, MBA, is a regional supplier quality manager for Boeing Defense, Space, and Security. Kia and her team is responsible for 157 suppliers in the Los Angeles area that provide parts and material to Boeing for integration and execution of military aircrafts and space vehicles. Prior to that, Kia's technical career consists of management, program management, and engineering roles at the Boeing Company, Eaton Aerospace Corporation, Raytheon, and NASA. Kia is the recipient of the 2022 Society of Women Engineers Emerging Leader Award, 2022 Black Engineer of the Year Modern Day Technology Award, and the 2021 Women of Color Rising Star Award. Kia is also a co-creator of Blend, a Boeing retention program for people of color, the creator of the Billy and Juanita Smith HBCU scholarship. And with all of that, she still has time to write. She is an author of How to Love Yourself and the HBCU Experience, Southern University's second edition, and a certified workshop leader in Myers-Briggs self-assessment, master network, and emotional intelligence. When I say this woman is doing it all, and she does it beautifully and with grace and with such a humble spirit, like, did y'all just catch all of that? So I'm excited to talk to her today so we can really get into it. And we're also going to talk about that self-love and self-care piece, because that's so important, so important. So let's get ready to all meet Miss Kia Lorece Smith.
Hey, Tasha.
I love that she was grooving. Like, I love that. I love that. How are you? Wednesday. How's your day?
It is wonderful. How's your day, Tasha?
You know what? I've been excited for so long that I was going to be able to meet you and interview you, and just let more people get an introduction to just who Kia Lorece Smith is. I mean, just your bio alone lets people know you are the real deal. You are the powerhouse. Like, so I'm just going to let you dive right in. Tell us about Kia Lorece Smith, because I mean, the bio is one thing, but go ahead and shine. Tell us about you.
Thank you for that. Well, you know, it's funny because when you say tell everyone about me, all I can think about is I am literally a conglomeration of all the love and support that I've received in my lifetime from all the people that I've had any experience with, whether they're super close or even just, you know, just met them. Because I really make sure, even though I'm a technical person, I'm very much so social, and I appreciate every interaction and everything I learn from every person. And so this is like a a element of growth that you see before you today. I don't think I always was this person, or maybe I was and I just didn't know it and I was doubting myself, which is a thing sometimes, we can do as women,
Yes.
right? And, I attribute a lot to my parents because they really, Billy and Juanita Smith, they really like focus on how they made me as a person because they knew I'd have to go into society one day. And they were big on treating people how you want to be treated, right? And then always being just respectful and thoughtful and considerate of the next person, while always giving 110% your best. Like, don't ever slack, ever.
Right.
And so coming up was interesting as far as just feeling like, how do I get to that place where I feel like I'm being the person that they wanted me to be? But I feel like with all of my network and support and everyone that's been there for me, I've had the opportunity to really grow and kind of get to a place where at least I know I am happy with the person that I am. And I feel like I can really help pay it forward, pave the way, right? And show others how sometimes it's not always just about you. It's about you being a vessel and having a purpose for everybody else.
Hallelujah. Amen. Yes, absolutely. And that's what I got from the previous show when you was on Dante Morris, and I'm like, I have to have her. So going back a little bit, because as I read your bio, it's obvious you are in the aerospace industry, where again, there are only 2% of Black women. Like, it's less than 4% of Black people. Then add to the fact that you are a woman and we're talking literally less than 2%. So how did you get into the industry of aerospace? We're not going to even dive into just yet, like how far you've come. Let's just go back to that moment. Like, how did you even just enter into the aerospace industry?
I think I attribute it to three things. The first one is, as a child, my parents made sure to put me in every STEM summer program, every activity that any university or any group that had a positive impact close enough to us or far, they would put me on a train, right, to go and do whatever I needed to do. They weren't like, oh, my child isn't going. Oh, no, they're like, sign her up. She'll be there. And so I kind of almost had no choice but to learn the things that I did. And even though I already loved math and science in school, I had some great teachers. I came up in Zachary, Louisiana, which is one of the best school districts in Louisiana. Like, I think it was number one, that having that, the paving of the way for me, learning through all those programs and educational opportunities that my parents and some of my neighbors put me in, right? And then number two, little unbeknownst to me, little did I know that my future soror at the time I was in high school, she really helped by getting me into an HBCU, Southern University, getting me into an honors college program, and really helping me to pave the way for my scholarships and the things that allowed me to do things like become a NASA scholar and work at NASA every summer and see what it took to put anything in space, right? And just having that basic foundation, I guess, gave me a little confidence, right? To feel like I can actually be in this industry. Yeah. And then I'd say the third and last thing is the people that were like around me, not knowing that they were helping to mold me, even my peers, right? I saw some of my classmates like, oh, I'm interning here, I'm working here, I got this opportunity, that opportunity. And it kind of made me feel like not only can I do it like them, but what I did was I watched their moves and how amazing they were with being confident, speaking well, learning the right information to say so that all these others that might not know how to approach us can actually hear that we know how to speak the language that you speak. We know how to be technical and share everything that we know in 10 minutes. So, in that elevator pitch, oh, she's ready and she can be a part of this industry. And so with those three things kind of really aligning, I think it got me ready to where I was like, you know what? I can do this.
Do it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. One of the things that I hear in what you're saying, and I feel like this is missing in today's world, is you had a community, you had a village. Like, you didn't just say your parents, you said your neighbors, you said someone who was a mentor help you. Like, you had that village. How important is that? Because now you don't see that as much. Like, people don't stay and build in their community. I'm not going to say in their community, I'm going to say in their neighborhood, because now neighborhoods are not the same as they used to be. So a lot of times people aren't even knowing their neighbors anymore. But it sounds like that contributed to a lot of your success, is having that community, having that neighborhood that kept you going and kept you lifted.
It definitely did. Like, when I look now at how the children are today, and I see a lot of examples of what I'm like, oh my God, I was like that. Like, I was just not wanting to hear things or saying, oh, well, I thought best maybe, versus the people that's been there, done that,
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I was always a logical decision maker, even as a kid. So yeah, the first time I hear it, I might like mentally dismiss it. But once I realize there's a pattern and 2 or 3 people are saying it, I'm like, that is literally God speaking to me, the universe speaking to me. And if I ignore it, then that's on me. And I need to be accountable on that. And so even as a young kid, I was paying attention to realize, like, you know what? If all these people are getting me opportunities and scholarships to go to this school, then this is the school I need to go to. And then now that I'm at this school, if they put me in Timbuktu Academy and they put me in honors college and I'm on academic scholarship, and then all of them are like, you need to go ahead and take this NASA opportunity, then I need to listen. And so I didn't let anything stand in my way. I didn't let any invisible barriers or any physical barriers stop me from just moving with the natural steps. That song, Order My Steps, it's like, that is a real thing, because sometimes we don't, as people, just don't listen or receive the orders that we are told. But those orders are for a reason, even when you're a kid. And that's why they have kids nowadays as millionaires, right? Because at a young age, honey, they are listening and receiving what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Now, you were saying earlier your parents would put you in this camp and this camp and this summer program. And a lot of times, like, I'm a mom, there are times I put my kids in things and they were not happy about it. They probably told me they were later on, or they may not have really been. But was there ever a time where it was like, oh my God, I got to go to another camp or another camp? And did you ever think about just backing out and going, I just don't want to go this time?
That is so funny, Tasha, that you asked that, because my memory, how you remember certain parts of your childhood, but maybe not everything, like the things that probably either made you emotional or, made you feel a certain type of way, right? Was it Maya Angelou that said people, they might forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you made them feel?
Yes.
That is a real thing, because a lot of those things in my childhood, I remember how I felt. And what I remember, like, while we're saying this, all gravy, going to these programs and all, I remember hating every moment of getting dropped off. Now, I don't remember a lot of the being there. I knew I was there. I remember the drop off. Like, okay, get out the car, go ahead and go in on the first day. And I remember hating it, which is so crazy, because as a person, anybody that knows me, and you can see my friends in the chat, my sister Kenya, Darius, T. Holiday, my Linda Fallon, everybody in here, they will tell you, my line sister Ashley, they will say, Kia is an extrovert, and she will talk to anybody and be anybody's friend. But honey, when I tell you, as a kid, I had like a little invisible barrier I put up myself of being afraid sometimes to be people's friends or really show them who I am, and I think it was just a little bit of, the insecurities you have as a kid, feeling like you are not necessarily like, oh my God, that friend's hair is so much nicer than mine, or oh, they're so much smaller than me, or whatever I had in my head, thinking I don't want to show up at these programs on this first day, because now I got to meet these people, these new people, and go through this whole feeling all over again. You could see social butterfly, and it was like, yes, you are. They know. And as a kid, I was like that. I'm telling you, I have classmates now that from elementary school, like, oh, I remember always going to her birthday parties and having fun, but I was comfortable with them because I knew them from then. Right. But every time I had to start something new, Southern would have a program at Southern University. LSU would have STEM programs. My parents would drop me off at all of these, and I would be just like, having like a little mini moment. But clearly I went and I conquered and I did my thing, and it was fine. And I lived to tell the tale, and it was okay. And I think it's a thing that we just, even adults do sometimes, right? Yeah. We pump ourselves up to think that things are so much more than they really are. So I say that to say, just like, you said with kids in general and not wanting to do something, I feel like it's our responsibility as adults to give them that nudge and push them a little more, because they are just kids feeling the feelings and the insecurities they're feeling. They're not realizing, like, no, this is something new and fun, because at the end of the day, you're either going to be so excited you went, or you're going to know, you know what, this isn't my ministry. It's not for me. Right. But at least you learned something and you tried and you lived your life in the way that you should, right? Yes. But a lot of times nowadays we're so afraid to challenge kids and, I hate you, mom, or whatever it is that happens. Or you're not my mom. Kids will tell me that real quick, but I don't care at this point in time. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be thankful that you heard me tell you this in like 20 years.
It's so important for parents to understand, like, expose your children to things. It doesn't mean that this has to be their love just because you really like it. But if you just open the door and tell them, you know what, go try it. If you don't like it, you never have to do it again. But if you never try it, then you'll never know. And if anything, like you said, you will learn something. So, and I the reason why I wanted to ask you about that is because I know that there's parents out there. I know school just started, but probably every summer they're like, oh, what program? The kid is dragging out of bed. They don't want to do it. They're probably fussing and fighting. And it's like, no, moms, dad, just make them go, because they will appreciate it later, whether they understand it or not now.
Yes. And those friends that, even if they're not friends, you will remember these people. And what's funny is if everybody kind of goes that same lane, you'll get grown and be in a STEM field and run into these same people. Like, I literally today was working a career fair at Southern University recruiting and ran into my 6th grade friend that I haven't seen since then, right? And you would just think, I wouldn't even recognize you. But sometimes when you let your guard down and you try something new, which I did at that time, because I had to go to a different school system in 6th grade because it was the only school with gifted and talented in the area. I let my guard down and I went. And I remember my mom saying, do you want to stay at Zachary for middle school, or do you want to go ahead and go be in the gifted program and take that hour-long bus ride? And she asked me, which was great, but she knew she was going to make me go anyway. But still,
I'm so told, yes.
Yeah, because she was that person. I'm just so glad I went, because then I met all these friends just like me in the gifted program. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like, I would have missed out on so much. And so many of them we're like close and friends to this day. And it just really helps to make you the person you're supposed to become when you can push through it and you have an adult helping you to push through it too.
Yes. Now, we're not going to even go to being a Black woman yet. We're just going to talk about the male-dominated industry. Okay. So in a male-dominated industry, were there times that you were just like, do I really want to do this? I think I'm about to just walk out. I am tired of this. I can't take this. Like, before we even get into, you being a Black woman in this industry, let's just talk about from it being a male-dominated industry and you being a woman. Then we will add the layer of you being a Black, smart, educated woman.
Tasha, when I tell you, you are hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. It's one of those things. It's like you would think that, this can't happen to everybody that looks like you. But every time I feel like when I talk to someone in this industry that looks like me, we all have similar stories, right? Which is interesting.
Hang on 1 second. I'm going to pause you for a second because this story is getting ready to get good. And I can tell, like, I wish I had my tea. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when you come back, I'm going to let you go ahead and unpack that story. So stay with us. We'll be right back talking with Kia Lorece Smith.
I love your theme music.
Thank you. Yes, I do too. That's Pyro. They really gave me some good music. But we're back and we are talking to Kia Lorece Smith, Black Queen Magic, Shenomenal woman, and she was just getting into telling us what it was like for being in a male-dominated industry and times where she wanted to give up. So Kia, let's go.
Yeah, so I want to share this story because I remember this very vividly. And it was early in my career. I was an early engineer working in a lab on kind of defense radar type materials and production activities, right? So in my mind, I'm like, okay, as long as I'm learning the technical piece, I'm showing up every day on time, I'm in the lab, fully suited and booted in my personal protective equipment, doing what I'm supposed to do, that I'll get great performance reviews because I've always made great grades. You know, I did my work and turned it on time and got great grades. So the same thing has to transfer in my career. This is what I'm thinking, again, as a logical person.
Right.
But then I'm like literally coming to work and asking for this benefit or that benefit that is supposed to be automatic for the company I was at. And yet I would get denied and I'd be like, wait a minute, it's so confusing because I would see this person or that person, right, that didn't look like me get the things. How am I not getting them? When I know I'm showing up and showing out, you know, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do and doing a little more because I was even kind of donating some of my time to some of the organizations around work as well. Mm-hmm. So it just didn't make sense to me. And then I decided one day to ask my boss because what I noticed was there was another engineer on like a sister team of mine, but under the same kind of umbrella that she looked like me. I actually knew her from before work. And she was getting some of the benefits that I was still being denied. And I was just so confused. And so I said, you know what? One thing my daddy used to say, like, don't compare yourself to other people. You're different. You can't knock other people's blessings. Cool. I'm not going to go in there and bring anything up about her. I'm going to just say, hey, this is the requirements of my job. This is what I'm doing. So where's the gap? Because for some reason, I'm not getting the support in the areas I needed. And this man said, well, let me give you an example. You see such and such, and he was referring to the other person of color. For some reason, they do that. They always compare you to the other one. Okay, you see such and such. She comes in my office every day to see me. She comes, she sits on my desk, she spends time with me. You don't do that. You come in and you go straight to the lab and you go and you work. So think about it, if you were in my shoes and you had opportunities, would you give them to the person that spent time with you each day or the person that's showing up and doing their work every day, but not spending time with you? And I was like, is this really a conversation? Like in my head, because that's not how I handle things. Like my again, logical self would be like, yeah, I'm gonna give it to the person that's working.
That's getting the job done in the discussion. Yeah.
Yeah. But that was my day of realizing that people are different. People's expectations are different. And sometimes you can really be the best and you could be doing a great job. But in that person's eyes, you're not, because you're not checking the boxes they're looking for. You're checking the boxes that you think, even if it's very transparent, like at a job, they clearly tell you what you're supposed to do. If you do that, it still doesn't matter, because the person that's making the decision is the person that's rating you, not the job as a whole, right?
So did you then decide, like, screw your boxes, I'm gonna create my own boxes to check? Or do you feel like you had to conform in a certain way to make sure that you get those same benefits as other people?
So, it's funny you asked that. I felt like I needed to do both, because on one hand, I felt like it was out of order. Sir, I'm not coming to sit on your desk. I'm not, but yeah, but I do understand the point of getting time. So I didn't at least realize, like, you know what, you should at least schedule some type of one-on-one, phone call, something where you just communicate with whoever you're reporting to on a regular basis, just so they don't feel like you're doing your own thing and you don't care about including them in your journey, because your journey is really to support what they have for you, right? Since they're supposed to be your leader, whether you wanted them to be or not. Because a lot of times in my career, I would, sign an offer with a job for this boss, and that boss would get promoted in the next week or two. And then it's like, okay, they're gone, and I got to deal with whoever else is left, right? And I really realized that there's just a fine balance of, yes, I need to make sure I'm communicating and all that. But then, yes, I still need to make sure I'm doing my job, because if I get to communicate and then that boss leaves and another one comes, they're just going to be looking at possibly what deliverables have I met. And I can't say, well, I didn't meet them because I was sitting here looking in this other boss's face all day. They don't want to hear that, Yeah. So I realized that it needs to be customized in every situation, ultimately. Like, that's the main thing. And it takes you as a person to know what that design looks like, right? And that balance. And you have to be okay with that. Because if you're not okay with the level that they're expecting, then it's okay to go and get one of these other million jobs in the world,
Right. Now, you were talking about, like, just kind of having this thing where it's like, I need to check these boxes, or I got to conform to this. With all of that, did it change how you defined success for yourself?
It did for a little, because that was my early talent days and I was still young and in my early 20s. And then as I grew and kind of tried new positions, had new teams, new leaders, I started realizing how the difference can be very big in people and their expectations. And because of that, it makes me now and even then feel like, so where's the line? Because if you keep moving and adjusting yourself and checking this box and that box and this box and that box and carrying this bag and that bag, and now your bag lady, you're going to hurt your bag, like, you're going to really do all that for your whole life behind some people that you don't even talk to after you get off of work. I was like, at a certain point in my career, I realized it's a no. Like, you're going to have to really take me for who I am, right? She said it.
Absolutely.
Because the real reality of it is, I was kind of like mid-career when it hit me that it's okay to just be you and they'll be all right and there's these other million jobs. And it took this other Black lady manager. She told me that when I was her mentee. She said, girl, if you don't go find one of these other 1,000 aerospace jobs in LA and not ever have to deal with foolishness again. And the light bulb went off like, you are right. Like, I'm so used to trying to be loyal to an entity, right? And then I was like, no, because that entity at any point in time can change on you. Right. You can be their favorite today. Yeah, and tomorrow you're not their favorite anymore. And then what you gonna do? You know, and so the reality is, I told myself at a certain point in time, and this is the time I said it to myself, I started realizing when I kept interviewing for internal positions, that I only was considered or thought of when I wore like a pantsuit, and then I didn't wear my hair like big or like, and then I was like, I feel like they're making me kind of really conform. And if you see me now, you see the colors, you see the polka dots. That's
unapologetic.
Yes, unapologetic. That is too far away from my core and who I am. If you have to change your baseline that much to where you're now being so uncomfortable, I was like, you know what? It's a no. So that's why when I actually went to this hiring event that Boeing was hosting, it was such a blessing. I was in a Facebook group, so you can find your blessing in Facebook, honey. I was in the group, and this lady just dropped in a group in the National Society of Black Engineers little chat. She said, hey, Boeing's holding on-site interviews, go. And I said, I'm just going to see what happens. And I go, and they say, yeah, we love you. Come in for an interview tomorrow. Actually 2 interviews, because 2 managers want to talk to you. I was like, cool. I go, and I literally think in my head, what do I wear? Do I do the pantsuit thing again, because I know that's what works? Or do I go ahead and just say, you know what? This is me, honey. Take it. And I literally was like, you know what? That's what we're doing. Because I'm a dress girl. I love to wear things, flatters and flows. I love a little twirl, a little one, too. And I love a navy blue dress, and my little navy blue heels, and want my hair big like I wanted to. 45-minute discussion. I got an offer for both of the roles, just like that.
Of course.
And I was like, you know what?
That don't change that resume. It does not change that educational background.
Correct. And if the person is for you, the person you should be working with, then it's gonna work. Sometimes Absolutely. We wonder why, we keep applying and we keep interviewing and it's not working. Honey, that is protection. You think it's not a blessing and you're upset, is really protection from things you should not be around. Because if they're not taking you for you.
Yeah. Did you ever have to deal with, again, you're in an industry where there's such a small number of Black women. Did you ever have to deal with Black women that felt they needed to compete? Or did you feel like, you know what, we're a sisterhood and we just gonna we gonna do this all together so we can bring more women in? And if it was more competitive, if it was more of that competition type attitude, how did you deal with it? How did you handle it?
That's funny you asked that, because I literally had that story today talking to someone when I was at the career fair. But I'll give you the honest truth. 95% of the time, it's always been love and sisterhood and support. We even have these like tribe meetings once a quarter. Like, let's make sure we're sticking together and helping each other. I started like some Black Girl Magic groups. Like, it's beautiful for those that it works for. But I can tell you, it has been, I can count on one hand. That's why I said 95% of the time, because there's 5% of the time in my career that it's been like, oh, is she really coming for me? Because I did not send for her. Like, what's going on? And it happens. At one point in time, there was a leader. She was so large in the organization, and she came in new. And I think because she was the only other woman of color like me in the building, she immediately thought I was a threat. And it went from everybody loving me to next thing you know, everybody's one-on-ones was the tones were changing. Like, oh, well, I heard things aren't going like they should. I'm like, where you in there from? Because they're going great to me. Like, my customers are happy. I got receipts to prove it. What's the problem? And every time, whether they meant to or not, it would slide down to them saying, oh, well, this person said, sis, not you, sis.
Come on,
of all people.
Right. So
it was so heartbreaking.
How do you, like, when you see a young Black woman coming into this industry, what do you do for her?
Oh, honey, I bring out all of the drums and the cymbals and the everything, because I love it. I feel like it's amazing, and I get it, totally get it, especially now that I'm a manager and a leader. And sometimes, especially with like the program I helped to create, the visionary and the co-creator for Blend, that program, I specifically made it so that way people that were in situations where somebody might have blocked them or, put them in a box and they're ready to make their move, I created that so that we literally brought managers to them, leaders to them, so that they can make a move to another team and still stay at the company they want to and still get a promotion. And what's interesting now that this is the second year we're doing it, we've done about 6 summits by now. And every time we do it and we get success stories, it's such a blessing. I'm so happy. But then I also think later on, like, I see how in a person that if you're not a naturally secure person, how it can make you feel some kind of way that you're kind of the reason that a person passed you up.
Wow.
And while I'm totally okay with it, because my hope is that they'll remember me one day.
Yes.
Bring me with you, girl. Don't forget who hooked you up with such and such. I can really see how a person that like might be hurting inside or maybe has some things going on with them, how they can really be bothered. Like, oh, I helped this person get to this level and I'm not even there. And then hence the sabotage starts, whether it's self-sabotage or sabotage on the person, which is just unfortunate because I am just not that person. And it hurts me to know that some people have that on them. Everybody can have it in them, but it doesn't activate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it on you means you activated it and you was fine with it and you sleep well at night knowing that you were making the decisions you do. And so it's hurtful. And all I can do is, hope that they realize they don't have to do that. Every blue moon, when I've seen a little of it kind of peak up, if I think the person is, worth having a conversation with, or I think the relationship is worth saving, I would definitely have the conversation. And I'm very strategic with the words I say because I never want to, add fuel to the fire. I want to make sure I'm softening the blow and helping them realize, Blue, I'm on your team. We're on the same team.
Like, I'm trying to help you. I want to see you grow in this industry. There are not a lot of us. So we have to build this bond together so that young girls looking up to us know that we can all vibe and work together and be successful in an industry that really wants to keep us out of here.
Yeah. No competition, Boo. We are not each other's competition. I promise you, as much as you think that Billy Joe is someone thinking, well, I got to pick, Keisha or Taisha, they're not. They're barely even like, oh, Keisha or Taisha got to shine for them to even be like, you know what? Let's even consider them. They're not sitting around thinking like, oh, let me pick one or the other. So it's really more of, you're in a competition, it's always with yourself. And you have to be like, I see my Sora button on here. She used to tell me all the time, you have to be your best self. You show up all the time as your best self. And if you don't, then you got to figure out what you got to do, because at the end of the day, that's the only way you'll be happy and you'll get to the places that you want to be in life, by showing up as your best self. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. And then I want to talk to Kia about her scholarship. I want to talk to you about your book, because self-love is so important, especially when you are just that businesswoman that's making things happen. And we're going to talk about how you bring self-care and self-love into the industry that you're in. So stick with us. We'll be right back with more Kia Lorece Smith. Back there, yes. All right, we're back with Kia Lorece Smith, and I just want to read a couple of the comments that are coming up. John Roberts, that is my bonus dad. Hey, he says our true selves are easy to find when we leave all boxes and bags behind us. Yes, absolutely. And then I love what Jeanette Ellison says: "Be you, take up space, being unapologetically." You, like that needs to be on a billboard, like that. Like we have to teach our young girls that. Be you. Stop trying to be everybody else. There is only one you, only one. So I love that. All right, now you've created a scholarship for your alma mater. Talk about that scholarship.
Sure. So last year I was just thinking, like, I really want to do more for the next generation. I mean, I already kind of volunteer in different organizations, or I'm a mentor in different spaces, but I was like, I feel like I should do more. On top of that, I was like, I really, really want more than just my sister and myself to remember the legacy of my parents, because both of them were engineers, both of them worked for Exxon their whole lives. And I feel like they did so much for Southern University and for their community in Zachary and Baton Rouge that I just felt like both of them being, in heaven, they needed to be uplifted to the point to where people at least knew who they were. And my thought was, if we create a scholarship in their name, which, a lot of people do sometimes, but if we do it specifically for Southern University students because they met at Southern University and fell in love and got married before they even graduated, I just felt like it could be a good way to remember them and give back and do more for the community and for the kids of today, right? So, I just was like, this is what we got to do. We got to create this scholarship. I talked to my cousin Russell. He's great with creating websites. And he was like, cuz, I got you. And I'm going to do this, for free in the name of my auntie and my uncle. And I was like, cool, this is what we're going to do. We're going to literally put out a flyer, work with financial aid, and see how many people will be interested in applying for the scholarship. And so we wanted to have one main scholarship recipient. I had quite a few of my friends and classmates donate money to actually give to the recipient. And then I knew once I got all of the applications, got about 50 of them, I was like, oh my God, I cannot pick just one, right? Wow. So what I decided to do was pick a top 10. And I still had my one that was going to get the $500 book scholarship, because we got to start somewhere and hopefully it'll grow as the years go. But I was like, the other 9, we need to give them something, So I was like, the next 4 could, get $50, and then the final 5 can get some gifts that could help them throughout their tenure in the university. And so I had my brother, Jeremy Jamal, donate some things. I had quite a few of my classmates from Southern and sorors and friends donate, and we were able to put together some really nice packages for them. And then of course we got some sponsors in, Raising Cane's provided like a basket. Like, we were able to get a few sponsorships just to give something to the kids, because it was nothing for me or so much for any of us and our names. It was more so to make sure, what these kids are in this world dealing with a pandemic, dealing with, racial injustices and George Floyd and having to go to school virtually. I was like, let's bless these kids and give them something. So we were able to do it last year, and we hosted a little ceremony on campus and blessed the kids. And I see my friend Janice on, she helped with some of that too. And so I'm just,
you gotta think,
my village is amazing.
How many people immediately jumped in to support you is a testament to how wonderful you are and what you mean to so many people. When people are like, oh, wait, Kia wants something. Oh, no, we're going to help. It just really speaks to the heart that you've given out to other people. And that's why it's just being returned to you. So I know we're going to run out of time in a bit, but tell us really quick, what is the name of that foundation and where can people find out more information?
It is the Billy and Juanita Smith Scholarship, and you can find more information at www.billyandjuanitasmith.com.
Perfect. Now, before we head out, I do want to jump way ahead because you are an author as well with that whole list of things. You are an author, and your book is How to Love Yourself, which we know is so important. We are constantly bombarded with all the things that we have to do, and we sometimes just forget that we exist. So tell us a little bit about that. I would say maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and how you've been able to put that self-love into yourself and what you do, and let us know.
Yeah, so what happened with that is I started realizing, remember I was telling you how I used to have that little insecurity about, oh, friends are smaller than me and being a plus size girl growing up. And eventually, like, even just me being me, I started realizing the patterns of so many people coming to me and saying, I love how you just don't care. Like, you are just out here being who you want to be, you're being fabulous, you're wearing your hair how you want to, you're dressing how you want to. You don't let people and their thoughts of how you should fit in a box because of your size define you. And once I realized, like, the 10th person that said that to me, I was like, you know what, girl, you need to put everything you've been through in a book, because these people could maybe learn from your experiences, because they keep saying things like, I wish I was like you, or I wish I could be like you, or I wish I could wear heels like you. I feel like I can only wear flip-flops. You know what, sis? Wear whatever you want. Get you some little, that strap is too tight. Get you some little backless heels, some little Debbie, something, because you can work whatever you can work.
Yeah.
So I decided to sit there and really make an outline and start putting together like how I became to accept myself, learn more about myself, know myself, taking assessments to be comfortable with myself, having daily affirmations, looking in the mirror and telling myself I love myself, saying good things about me and pouring into me. And once I was able to do that and put it into words and publish it, it was just super awesome, because then I got so many people supporting me, like at the book signings and buying my books and trying to put them in schools and getting them for girls for programs at universities. And so it was just such a blessing. But at the end of the day, my goal wasn't to make money. My goal was just to share myself with other people in hopes that it would help them.
Right. Beautiful. So before I get to my last question, tell people, one, how they can reach you and how they can get a copy of your book.
Sure. So you can reach me on Instagram at Kia Lorece, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Kia Smith. I'm there as well. And if you want to get the book, it's on Amazon and Kindle and Lulu. You can go to yesloveyourself.com, or you can literally just go straight to Amazon or Lulu and type in How to Love Yourself by Kia Lorece, and you'll find it there.
Beautiful. All right. So my final question for you is, who has been a Shenomenal woman in your life and why?
Oh my goodness. Oh, so many women. All of you, first of all, I see you in the comments, but I want to give the biggest shout out to my mother and my sister, Juanita and Kenya Smith. They have been so Shenomenal. My mother made sure that I always knew how amazing I was, even when I didn't think I was. And my sister does the same to this day. You see her in the comments like, oh, my beautiful sister. She makes sure
Yes.
at the end of the day, if I don't have anywhere to go and I don't think I have anybody in this world, she's going to make sure I know that I have her. And honey, when I tell you that sisterhood, that is sisterhood.
I love it. I absolutely love it. So to Kenya, thank you for being a Shenomenal sister, because it has obviously been a part of how Kia Lorece has been able to reach other women and create that sisterhood. So that is awesome. I love it. I think you are absolutely just the definition of a Shenomenal woman, a Shenomenal queen. I love that you are blazing the trails in such an industry that was not built for us. And you're like, yeah, it wasn't built for us, but I'm about to kick this door down and let y'all know we coming through here. And not only am I coming through, but I'm getting ready to bring a whole lot of other sisterhoods up into the aerospace industry. And that is like, you're going to go down in history. That I can tell you. They're going to be reading about you in history books one day. Thank you so much for being a guest. Thank you for sharing your experiences, for your vulnerability, and for really, even in having to break down those walls, doing it with a smile and in a way that serves and helps support other women doing the same thing.
Oh, thank you, Tasha. And thank you for being Shenomenal.
Thank you. Yay. All right. Thank you guys for being with us. Thank you guys for engaging in the chat. It has been such a pleasure to interview Miss Kia Lorece Smith. I will see you guys next week. And don't forget to love yourself and make sure you get your rest. Until next week, be Shenomenal.